Welcome back to FemGenieR's Confident Communicator course introductory video series. I'm Purnima Videshankar, the founder of FemGenieR. In this video, you're going to meet Scott Ford, who is the CTO and co-founder of Corgibytes. As a CTO, Scott knows that it's important to get out there and speak, but he doesn't always want to. He'd prefer to stay heads down, writing code or leading his team. In this brief interview, you'll learn why Scott decided to take the Confident Communicator course, what he got out of it, and how it's helped him become a much more effective CTO. Thanks for joining us today, Scott.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I know you were initially a little resistant to embrace public speaking. Can you tell me why that was?
It was frightening. It was very scary to get up and share my ideas in front of people and not know what the reaction was going to be, and not know if I was going to sound like an idiot, or if my ideas were worth sharing, or if I was going to be heard in the back of the room, or if anybody would show up. Those were all kind of fears going through my mind. Or would I get up there and freeze and not know what to say? Or there's a whole host of reasons that I was terrified of it.
Yeah. And how do you think you got over sort of each of those fears?
Practice.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's honest. Yes. Yeah. And after you had done that practice, then was that what changed your mind about public speaking, or was there something else?
I think it was more seeing so for me, it was, so I'm very introverted anyway. And like, going to a conference and trying to meet lots of people is not something that I do all that easily. And it was after like the first or second time I'd given a talk, I noticed I didn't have to mingle, and I didn't have to start conversations, that people were coming up to me and people were starting conversations in reaction to what I had spoken on. And I found that a lot easier than going up and introducing myself to strangers. So I think that's what sold me on it. It's kind of my hack as an introvert to attend a conference. If I can speak, then I get to meet more people that way, and I don't have to walk up to random strangers and introduce myself. I can just be myself for a few minutes up on stage, and then the people who are interested will seek me out.
Yeah, that was actually my hack early in my career too, because as you know, I'm like 5'2", and you don't really have eye contact and kind of worried about meeting people. And so, yeah, I definitely recommend it to those who either don't like networking, or like yourself are introverted and concerned about if you're meeting the right people or approaching people for the first time. So that's great. So prior to the Confident Communicator course, had you spoken before?
I'd spoken a little bit. And the talks that I had given were, kind of on the smaller scale, nothing all that significant. It had been like one talk that I had been giving over and over and over and over again. And then it did eventually culminate in a national conference, but it was almost like a year-long exercise and just refining the talk by giving it and then getting feedback and then tweaking that and then getting feedback and tweaking it. And it was very much a kind of a wing it approach to speaking. I didn't really have much in the way of, the only preparation I'd done was the prior attempts I had, tried to give the talk. And I had right before taking the Confident Communicator course, I had been asked to give a lecture that was going to be longer than anything else I've spoken on before. And I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. And it was on a topic that I hadn't prepared that level of depth on yet. So whereas I felt like the other relatively big, larger talk that I gave had the benefit of, giving the talk to meetup groups in several small cities. This talk, I didn't have time for that. So
yeah. So you felt like your practice and your winging it wasn't going to cut it this time around.
No, that, and it was how well the talk turned out was very unpredictable that way. So sometimes it would be great, and sometimes it would just be awful. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really have much in the way of like an ability to predict like how that was going to be. So it really made the prospect of speaking even more frightening, if that makes any sense, because like, just continuing to wing it isn't, I didn't think it was going to work.
Got it. Okay. So why then did you decide to take the Confident Communicator course?
Well, it was at the prodding of my business partner.
Sure.
She's been telling me that I need to get my ideas out and in front of people, and so they should be shared and heard, and that the story I have to tell is important. And so even though I find it frightening, that I need to work through that and figure out a way to get my ideas out in the world. And I had this, the speaking opportunity that was ahead of me that I needed to prepare for. And it seemed like a, really good timing in terms of the reason I was afraid of it was because I wasn't confident. Mm-hmm. Confidence is the name of the course.
Yeah.
And so that, it kind of like all the pressure kind of like, came at the right time. And I was like, okay, I'll take this. I'll dive in and do my best.
And you mentioned your business partner, so Andrea, right?
Yes.
Is a pretty prolific public speaker. Why not just learn from her? Why bother taking a course outside?
We have very different styles when it comes to approaching how we tackle problems, and we tend to frustrate each other when we're trying to learn from each other when it comes to that. So we've learned over the years that it can be sometimes best to have an outsider, kind of take on the training than it is for us to train each other in certain aspects.
And so walk me through what it was like to speak after you took the Confident Communicator course. I
was genuinely more confident. Like it sounds almost cliche, but like I felt more relaxed. I felt like the quality of the content that I delivered was much better. Watching myself after the fact, I seemed calmer. I seemed like I had a better authority over the information. I think I gave a much better talk than the talks I'd given before.
That's great to hear. And so how do you think it actually helped you get over that hump, get over the nerves, or at least learn to manage them?
I think the course itself helped with the exercises that we had, and the way that we worked on those, and worked with other people who were really struggling with the same thing. I think that's what really, really helped a lot, was seeing others who were having the same challenges, and we're having them in different ways, and we were able to help each other. So like a nuance that I wasn't struggling with, somebody else was. And so I could give feedback and give a little tip that I noticed that I didn't even know that was doing anything special. But, and then the reverse happened, where I had other students, make suggestions to me for little micro hacks. And the course itself had, tons of micro hacks, as well. And I think, helped me avoid certain pitfalls, like just getting up on stage and winging it, for example.
Yeah. I know that's very, very tempting, but like you said, it can be very frightening as well.
Yes.
So what were some of the benefits that you experienced after taking the course?
It's been a lot less frightening to seek out talks. It's been way less frightening to think that if I pitch something that I haven't given before, mm-hmm. that I'd be able to prepare a talk to back that up. Where before, I think the strategy that I was taking was, really like almost like fully develop a talk, mm-hmm. entirety before I pitch it to where I want to speak. And that, there's a lot of time to be put into a bet that chances are you'll be told no, right? Like most of the times I submit for conferences, I get told no. Like I'm pretty sure that's the majority of people's experiences. Like that's just it's kind of like an audition, right? Like most people who audition for something, they don't get told yes. So so I think like that process is a lot less frightening than it was before. And I feel like I got some good tips on like how to write a good talk proposal.
So where have you spoken at since the course?
So immediately following the course, I had a guest lecture at a Harvard Extension course and was invited back to give that talk again. And then I spoke at Agile DC on a talk that I had prepared from scratch, basically following what I learned in the course. So I wrote the pitch for the talk based on what I learned in the course, and then put it together based on what I learned in the course, and delivered it based on what I learned in the course. And so it was really the first talk that I'd given where I felt like I'd been able to apply kind of start to finish everything I learned in the Competent Communicator course.
That's great. That's great to hear. And congratulations. Those are awesome places to speak. So I know that you've gotten a lot out of taking the course for yourself personally, for your business, and it's helped you a lot. But I know that there's some folks out there who are on the fence. So any parting words of wisdom to get them off the fence and consider investing in taking the course?
I think if your resistance for why you're on the fence and kind of afraid to jump off is purely just a fear, then it's almost like jumping into a pool. Like, just kind of close your nose and do it. And you're going to be fine. It's going to be scary. The other people in the class are going to be just as frightened as you are. And the instructors are very kind and are understanding of all of the reasons that you might not want to be there and might not want to work through and you might not want to work through the material. You might not want to do the exercises, and you'll be great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Scott, for taking the time to chat with us today. That's it for this video. And as you've heard from Scott Ford, if you are on the fence because you're scared, it might just be time to consider taking the plunge, because you're going to experience a number of benefits, both for yourself personally, as well as for your company and for your business. Ciao for now.